Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm filming the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLA 250. This vehicle is much taller, much wider, and has a longer wheelbase compared to the last generation. And it's also the second generation of the GLA. This vehicle does have some very good rivals, which is the Audi Q3, the Volvo X40, and the BMW X1. But let's take a look here on the hood of the GLA. This has a Mercedes-Benz 2-liter turbocharged engine. It makes 221 horsepower. That's 13 more horses compared to the last generation. It makes 258 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. The fuel economies for my Tesla, since it's the front-wheel drive version, it makes 25 in the city, 34 on the highway, and 28 combined. And yes, you can get the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, which will drop the 0 to 60 to 6.6 seconds. With my Tesla being the front-wheel drive version, is going to have a 0 to 60 of 6.8 seconds claimed by Mercedes-Benz. And if you want a high performance version, Mercedes is going to be offering the AMG version of the GLA. So I can't wait to drive that one because that's going to make 382 horsepower. But let's take a look here at the front fascia of the GLA. This vehicle is much sportier compared to the last generation, in my honest opinion. These taillights are going to be a full LED with an LED turn signal and LED daytime running light with an automatic high beam. Down here, you do get LED fog lights. There's some chrome here in the front fascia. I like this mesh-like grille. I know with the AMG version, you're gonna have the bigger slats, bigger intakes and whatnot. And this exterior color is a silver metallic, which is a $720 charge. But let's look at the side profile of the GLA. So looking at the side profile of the GLA, starting with these tires and wheels, these are a Continental Pro Contact. They're a 235/55 width tire. This is a 18-inch rim design, which in my honest opinion, it looks a little plain Jane for my particular taste. I would just go for the AMG version wheel setup, which is a 20-inch rim design. The wheelbase for the GLA is 107.4 inches with an overall length of 173.4. My Tesla is missing the panoramic sunroof here. You do get an LED side marker here on the mirror cap. What do you guys think about the actual side profile of the GLA? Honestly, it looks a little plain Jane to me, but let's take a look at the rear of the GLA 250. The rear of the GLA, looking here at these taillights, I like the taillight housing design. You're gonna be a full LED with an LED turn signal, an LED reverse light, and an LED brake light. There's some badging back here, which is your GLA 250 badge, the 3-pointed Mercedes emblem, this rear spoiler, with this rear blade to keep the rear glass clean. Looking down here, there's a stand-up backup camera, LED lights for your tag. There's this chrome piece here, so you want to scrape your bumper when you're loading or unloading objects. And surprised to see that there's some rear parking sensors back here. Looking down here, there's more chrome trim with this dual exhaust. Open up the cargo of the GLA. All GLAs are going to come standard with a power liftgate. Mercedes says you're going to around 15 cubic feet of space, and when you fold everything down, you get 50.5 cubic feet of space. And surprisingly, there's no handles back here or latches to lower down the rear seats. Unfortunately, I have to go through the back seats to lower down the seats back there. But let's hop into the interior of the GLA. I'm sitting inside the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLA. But looking at the interior here of the GLA, it's a nice interior. Shutting the door here. Door sounds nice and solid because it's a German car. But to start up the GLA, just put your foot on the brake and press the start-stop button here. Looking at the door panel, there's some nice material with the stitching, 3-person memory seats, a real metal door handle. It is one touch up, one touch down for all 4 windows. You can power fold the mirrors in as well. As you can see, they're power fold in, just in case you're on a tight street. You want to take off your mirrors. But looking down here is your electronic parking brake. Your headlight controls are going to be here, your dimmer switches and whatnot. The steering wheel is a 3-spoke wheel design, which I actually like. Nice leather wrap steering wheel. Your cruise control settings are going to be here. You can customize the screen. Mercedes does give you a 7-inch screen as standard. Honestly, I would just spec in the 10.5 quarter screens here, which is around $1,700. I would highly recommend specking in those screens because the 7-inch looks really small compared to this 10.5 inch.
In order to use online functions of the voice system, please.
Okay, and sometimes Mercedes will start up by herself. Every time you say Mercedes, it will start up. But you can customize the screen to your liking. You can change what you want to see here. You have your assistants, phone, navigation, your trip, radio, media. You can change these gauges here. I had it in sport. You can go back to classic. However you would like to have your GLA set up in these center stack here. There is paddles here on the wheel. They're plastic paddles. Your drive selector, which is going to be here. You click down for drive. up for reverse. Looking at the backup camera, nice clear resolution camera, different view here, trajectory with distance markers. So Mercedes does one of the best backup cameras in the industry. Looking at the center stack here, you have this 10.5 MBUX system here as well. Like I mentioned, highly recommend optioning screen here because that 7-inch screen looks really funny, like I mentioned. But going here into comfort, I have the ambient lighting here. You can change this to whatever color you would like, to a bright yellow, or dark yellow, or dark blue. You guys, I won't pick it up in here because of how bright the sun is, but in the dark garage area or at nighttime, this thing looks like a nightclub. And this is a $310 option. I would recommend getting that because you can just change this to whatever color you would like. You can upgrade the brightness. And honestly, the MBUX system, fast system here. You go to your car settings and whatnot, your assistance, which is blind spot monitoring, emergency braking, which comes standard. We have to pay for the other Mercedes driver's assistance and whatnot. Just in case you want a more sporty looking GLA, Mercedes offers the AMG model, which has 382 horsepower, just in case you're power hungry. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the actual test drives. Looking down here is going to be a dual climate control. These 3 air vents are going to be here. There's some additional storage here, but not a wireless charging pad. Surprised to see that. There's no wireless charging pad in this car. Some black piano like trim here, a 12-volt here, a USB-C, 2 cup holders. Here you have your dynamic mode, which shows you eco, comfort, sport, and individual. So Mercedes does give you a couple of drive modes with the GLA. Like I mentioned, if you want a more high performance version, you can go for the AMG model when it's available really soon. Just in case you want to touch the screen, you have this trackpad here. You can click this home button here. You can swipe through it, rubbing your finger on it. But honestly, I would just use the screen just because this right here, I don't like the way it feels. I'm not sure if you can turn the vibration off, but I'd rather just touch the screen. Looking down here at this mode here, this is for your quick access for your assistance and whatnot. It shows you active braking, blind spot running, like I mentioned, navigation, radio, and your telephone, your volume, rotary, like what's going to be here. I like the way that sounds really nice. I'll show you guys the key fob really quick. I'll show you guys this Mercedes like key. You have some functions on here which are going to be lock, unlock, panic, and to open that rear hatch up back there. The center console here is going to be nice and padded. It's a double hinge center console, really nice storage in there. A USB-C. It's damped and it's lined with felt on the inside. These seats in here are really comfortable to hold you in place. They're not a girl seat bolster, but you can definitely go on a long road trip with these seats. I don't like the way they look, honestly. Maybe the AMG model might have some more aggressive looking seats, but these seats are really comfortable. Again, at the upper part of your dashboard, nice leather material, soft touch in certain places. Here is going to be a soft touch here on the dashboard as well. This aluminum like trim. The glove box here is damped, but it's not lined with felt. Pretty decent sized glove box. But overall, the interior here is really nice of the GLA. But let's hop into the back seats. So getting to the back seat of the GLA, the door sounds nice and solid. Like I mentioned, this is a German car. The materials back here are nice materials as well, just like in the front seat. So Mercedes didn't do any cost cutting when it came to the actual materials. Looking here, there are 2 cargo mat pockets here, rear air vents. Open up this little tray here is a 115 household outlet with 2 USB-Cs, a nice little cubby tray here. The floor back here is flat. There's this little hump here, but you can definitely fit 3 people across back here. Mercedes says you get around 38.4 inches of leg room, so a pretty decent amount of leg room back here. Plenty of foot room underneath this seat. I'm surprised to see that Mercedes does not offer a armrest here which has 2 cup holders, but there's cup holders in the actual door. But I'm surprised to see that Mercedes didn't offer that. And the seats here are just like the seats in the front, nice leatherette material. But let's take the GLA out and see how it performs with that 2-liter inline 4. Off in the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLA. This has the 2-liter inline 4. It makes 221 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired with an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. You guys know about Mercedes transmission, very fast shifting 8-speed dual clutch. And I have the front-wheel drive model, which gets to 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds. If you go for the all-wheel drive model, all-wheel drive model, you get 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. Fuel economy numbers for the front-wheel drive model are going to be rated at 25 in the city, 34 on the highway, and 28 combined. So really good, decent fuel economy numbers. If you go for the all-wheel drive, it's going to drop it down 1 mpg, so you really don't lose a lot with the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. Visibility out the GLA is pretty good. These big side mirrors here, giving out the rear with that coupe-like design. You can still see it out the rear really good. But if you want a little bit more aggressive looking GLA, Mercedes does offer the AMG version of this, which you can get around 382 horsepower, just in case 221 horsepower is not good enough. Honestly, I think 221 horsepower is adequate power for certain people, but I'm power hungry, so I think the GLA AMG version will be just a little bit faster for my taste, since you get 382 horsepower. I actually like the X7. I haven't reviewed one of those. I want to review one of those so bad. I find it so nice, but I wouldn't pick it over an Escalade or a Navigator because it's so smaller. So those are bigger vehicles there. The seats in here are comfortable. I'm gonna do a slight acceleration. You can hear the turbos spooling up. The 8-speed automatic is really good. And honestly, even though this is a 2-liter 4-cylinder, it doesn't have that buzzy 4-cylinder sound in here. But you can hear the turbos spool up, just in case you guys like to hear turbo noises. You can definitely hear it inside this vehicle. Blind spot monitoring is going to come standard with emergency braking, but you have to pay for the other driver's assistance. Surprised to see Mercedes doesn't make it standard, but there are certain driver's assistants that they do make standard. Like I mentioned, blind spot monitoring and forward collision warning are going to be standard on the GLA. If you want adaptive suspension, it's going to be optional. So honestly, I would recommend getting the adaptive suspension just in case you wanted a softer ride, but the GLA does offer a softer ride even without the adaptive suspension, if you want to save some money with this. But this is Mercedes' smallest SUV that they offer in their lineup, and even in sport mode, this thing is a little sporty. I can only imagine what the 382 horsepower GLA would be like. The 8-speed is a really good transmission paired with this 2-liter inline 4. But you guys want to really be driving this thing in actual sport mode. You will be driving this in like normal mode, or because even with the normal, this does have really good passing power. So if you're on the highway, you want to pass 221 horsepower is, like I mentioned, it's going to be adequate power for certain people. But like myself, I'm power hungry, so 382 horsepower might be the sweet spot for me and other people that's looking for a sporty SUV. Spending time with the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLA 250. Like I mentioned in the driving part of this video, just in case you wanted a sportier GLA, Mercedes is going to offer a AMG version of the GLA right here behind me, which is going to make 382 horsepower. I would highly recommend getting that one just in case you're power hungry like myself. But 221 horsepower is adequate power for certain people and certain everyday driving conditions. So how much is a GLA? Starting price for my tester is $36,230. My tester has some optional equipment which rolls in that silver metallic paint, which is $720, the 64 ambient lighting, which is $310, including the MBUX system, which is that 10.5-quarter screen, which I highly recommend getting. That's around $1,700, including destination. My Tesla stickers for $40,865. I'd like to give a special thanks to Jack here at Mercedes-Benz of Cutler Bay. If you're in the market for a 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLA, you can come to Mercedes-Benz of Cutler Bay and ask for Jack. And I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLA, and I'll catch you all in the next video.